What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Monday morning. That was my first sip of coffee. Today, we're going to talk about guitar stuff. More importantly, I'm going to tell you uh, how to get way more clicks than me. I think I've been doing this entire thing wrong for the entire 13 years of doing this. Um, it just feels like I have failed you as as a person who puts information out into the world. Um, I mean, it's not my real job. My real job is I make pickups, but I just feel like I failed you. So I want to talk about this failure. I want to talk about why I feel that I just have. I don't know. I've really missed the mark on some stuff. Made some kind of big errors in like how I present information. I've been thinking about this weekend. Um, Number one, I keep trying to learn things like every day. Like last night, I was literally doing some research on some stuff I didn't know about guitar stuff. What's funny is I was looking at some watches, and then it made me think, you know what? I don't know this thing about guitar stuff, so I'm gonna because it was like a technology that sort of applied. But then I found out it didn't. But anyways, and then it sent me down this whole rabbit hole. So here I am learning about guitar stuff, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm trying to learn things. That's not why you make a YouTube video. Um, The other thing is, when I see something cool, like like a cool amp or a cool guitar that I think's really neat, I'm sharing that with you. Which that I thought that was cool. I thought it was fun. I think it's fun, but I think I'm wrong. The other thing is, I'm too nuanced. So like when you have things that are very close together and are very difficult to tell apart, and sometimes the smallest details really matter, and I spend a lot of time talking about those details. I don't feel like that's the right thing to do. I don't feel like the internet. Um, it's just not how the internet works. Um, and I've been doing this wrong. So here I'm going to give you some things I think, like if you were to do what I do, here's how I would do it different. In 2026, I don't know. I'm really having to rethink this. The first thing you need to do, I think, is choose a team. So you're not allowed to have any kind of preferences, right? So if you like something, that doesn't matter if your team doesn't like it. So you need to like sort of conform to whatever your team, but you have to pick a team. Um, you don't have an opinion about anything. You just have to pick a team. Period. There's really no way around it. So what I mean by that is, do you like tube amps, or do you like digital products? You have to pick a team. Fender versus PRS, uh, Gibson versus anybody really. Vintage versus modern, uh, and most importantly, cheap versus expensive. Pick a team, throw out all of your opinions, and just be on that team. You cannot like both things. Period. 100%. I've been doing it wrong. Uh, because I like that whole list of things. I like all of those things. I love them all actually. And I don't think that's right. I think you really need to just buckle down and hate the other thing. Um, Even if there are inherent weaknesses and strengths, you must choose. That is important thing. For example, the tube amp and digital amp thing. I don't have a tube amp right now, but I have had both, and I enjoy having both. But according to the internet, that's not good. You're not supposed to do that. The other thing is, like I have a PRS and I have a Fender. Um, I have Squires, and I have custom shop guitars. Those that should not be possible. Like, you should not. I have Indonesian guitars and American made guitars, right? I own both in my personal collection, not just for work. I like them both. That's not good. That's not good. That gets you nowhere. Um, you know. So if so, let me just put this kind of into a sentence. If a tube amp sounds amazing and a modeler is practical, then what you must do is delete one of those sentences and believe the other, and just that's an end of it. That's it. Um, and then the other thing, once you've done that, once you've picked a team, like, and you're just like, I'm all in, and I hate the other thing, uh, then what I would recommend is, hang on, my browser just crashed. So you must be either a Mac guy or an iOS guy. Period. 100%. Right? Since my browser just crashed. It is Safari. You must be either Safari or Chrome. End of story. Hang on. This is how prepared I am for this stuff. Because I literally have an outline here that I kind of go by. I make a couple of notes. And it's early in the morning, and I don't memorize anything. I just think about this stuff. Okay. Once you've picked a side, you must then take that and turn it into an identity. This is where the real magic happens, I think. I think you don't buy a thing, okay? You are that thing, right? Like, everything about you is that thing. You are that thing. If you bought a PRS, you are a PRS guy. End of story. You cannot be anything else. If you are a Strat, you are a Strat guy. If you're a Tele guy, if you are a Helix guy, you cannot now have an opinion or have anything in your life surrounding a tube amp whatsoever. You are a Helix guy. You cannot think two things. It just doesn't happen. If you bought a Katana, for example, excellent amplifier, by the way, you are now legally bound to defend it online as being the best inexpensive amp ever, and there's nothing as good at it as it. If you bought a Harley Benton amp or a Joyo tube amp, you must now join the forums and be the guy and defend the fact that there is no point in spending any money on anything else. Once you understand who you are as a person, then you can kind of participate in any comment section anywhere, as long as it's on your team. If it's the comment section that's not on your team, I wouldn't go there. That's not good. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to learn anything or think anything different than what you've already been told by the tribe that is your team. So stay, in the Harley Benton group, stay in the cheap guitar group, stay in the budget guitar group, excuse me, stay in the Helix groups. Don't. I would not go out of those. Don't do that. I wouldn't go out of those. Okay, once you've got that, then, and you're firmly in your camp, you're this person. Now what I would do is I would just lose all curiosity for everything that is not what you already own. And if you're in the Facebook group for the thing that you've already owned, so if you're in the Harley Benton group, if you're in the Helix group, if you're in the Gibson group, if you're in the Strat group, then what I would recommend you do to survive is do not be curious about anything outside of those groups. Just Just don't. If you want to learn something, I would recommend that you ask a question in the group that has already told you why you're there, and has really confirmed who you are as a person. Only ask questions there. I would not venture outside of that. Um, and what I would recommend you do also is don't ever ask a question because you're curious about something. Only ask questions if you feel like you already know the answer, or if you're looking for someone else to tell you how you feel is the right way to feel. Only ask questions like that. I would avoid things like, "Am I the only one?" Um, what the? Well, you can ask that. Am I the only one? But I wouldn't ask it. Am I the only person who has this problem? I would literally say, "Please tell me I'm right because this is happening." Um, you know, does anybody else think? Only ask that in the group that you have identified yourself with, for sure. Don't ask people who feel differently than you any questions, because ugh, that's not good. The goal here is to not discover new things. The goal here is to assemble a jury of your peers that can now uh, adjudicate on the facts of music and the gear, and only work within that framework to create opinions that already, or at least enforce opinions that already exist within this peer group. That's the only thing I would do. Um, One of the things that really, really hurts this, and I would stay away from it, is nuance. Okay. Um, if there are small differences between things, gloss over them. Um, Only use words like never, always. Use things like garbage. Uh, call things garbage. I would say, you know, something doesn't need to be adjusted. It's totally destroyed, right? Like, if use very everything is a scam, right? Um, I would stay away from words like maybe, sometimes. It kind of depends. In my experience, that's a bad one. And usually, you know, maybe, sometimes. Stay away from those words. I would stay with the more definite articles. Never, always. Uh, yeah, definitely do that. Um, and understand that we don't want consensus. Uh, well, I take that back. The opposite. We do want consensus. That's all we want. We just really want. Uh, we just want everybody to agree with us. Okay. Uh, there's no real learning. I would say. The other thing I would do too is I would avoid the idea that all of these little facts to do with your instrument have anything to do with music. I think the biggest scam that we are told is that we buy this object and then somehow we are to create and be artists with this instrument. It's literally not, this is not for that. The reason you buy a guitar is to debate about the capacitor type, right? The reason why you buy the guitar is to debate about which way the capacitor is supposed to sit, um, what wood it's made of, uh, the specs of the pickups. Um, is a cheap cable actually as good as a good cable, for example? You're not really supposed to play music with these things. You're just supposed to kind of adjudicate the so-called facts surrounding the object. I think that's it. Um, I've seen people just talk about the capacitor thing is probably one of the biggest things I've ever seen ever in guitar culture. Be the funniest thing to me, that which way an orange drop is supposed to be flipped. And I've seen them argue that for hours and hours and hours. And I'm not sure that they know any songs on a guitar. Um, I'm not sure. I, and that means that they're probably doing it right in 2026. I think we've reached a point where, if you can defend your purchase, you're a guitar player. Defending your instrument is probably more important than actually playing it. The other thing I would do too is understand, okay, that the entire world who feels differently than you about anything, or who is trying to tell you anything that you don't already know, is conspiring against you. Okay. All guitar companies that aren't the ones that you own and aren't in the Facebook group, they all hate you. All of them. They all hate you. All they want to do is take your money. They literally just want, they just want to become a behemoth of a corporation with no face that just sucks the money out of your pocket. That's all they want to do. Every YouTuber who makes a video who says something that does not agree with what you have been told in the Facebook group that you're in, or the culture that you're in, this group that you're in, they are lying to you. Okay. The reviews that they're giving you on a guitar that you don't own, only on the ones that you don't own, though, they're bought and paid for. All of them. They have all been, they're just shills, 100% shills. They have no reason for existing other than to just lie to you. And this has led them to their success. The fact that they cannot be trusted. A person who is on YouTube automatically cannot be trusted, is not an expert in anything, does not know anything, has zero success in life whatsoever because they made a YouTube video. So therefore, they're not to be trusted about anything. So just understand that. And I think this is where I really got it wrong. Engineers, the people that get paid to design these things, who have gone to college, who have understood physics and science. I am one of these people. I have spent all my life actually understanding electronics. I've literally been in this profession since I was 15 years old, and done and taken extended education. I've gone to extra classes. I've traveled to learn from accredited organizations. I've done all the things to get where I am with the amount of engineering knowledge that I have. It doesn't matter what I honestly, I should have just skipped all that and saved all that money, because engineers, anybody who wears a white shirt and has a pocket protector, who gets paid to do the thing, and sits in a room with a bunch of other people who have also dedicated their lives to this, to design this particular product, they're all idiots. And what I should have done is just spent 10 or 15 minutes in a comment section, and I would have known everything that I needed to know. I could have completely skipped a lifetime of work and literally just sat in my mom's basement and commented on stuff, and I would have learned way more than what I ever went to school for. It's so weird to me. I completely did this wrong. I don't know. It's like the guitars. And one of the things as a result of that is you realize that the guitar designer, right? The people that design guitars, who make guitars, who, Paul Reed Smith, for example, Leo Fender, the people that work at Fender now, I know some of those folks who design this stuff. I have a friend who designed 2 or 3 of the modern designs that that are really, really interesting guitars. I have one of my friends designs pickups at Gibson. But what I realized is they're not really trying to design a guitar to build something cool. They're not there in this career to do anything cool. What they're really there to do is to ruin your life. They're there personally. They see you, whatever your username is. Okay. I don't know what it is. It's like hemorrhoid cream 234 in the comment section. That person at Gibson who designs those pickups, he's a friend of mine. He knows everything about you just by your username. He knows where you live. He knows how many kids you have. He knows what you do for a living. He knows what kind of music you're into. He knows specifically everything about you and is just trying to ruin your life by making a product that is better than the one you have, and costs more than the one you have. That's his goal in life, is to ruin your life. It's so weird that I would spend any time just trying to make a good product. I should have done this differently. And I honestly don't know how to do that. And I think that's one of the things I need to talk to him and just learn how to ruin people's lives individually. Because one of the things I've always said is I don't personally know you through the internet, so I can't have a feeling about you. So I can't be offended by you or bothered by you because I don't know you. And I think that's where I've been wrong. I think I should have, whatever gift he has, to know people through the internet and personally be able to target people is something that I've never been able to do. And I think that's probably one of the reasons I failed, for sure. So yeah. Obviously, it's a bunch of satire, of course. Serious now. Liking multiple things, knowing multiple things, being able to change your mind, appreciating different opinions, appreciating different facts as you know them, as you learn them, doing things because it's fun, disagree without declaring war. I think that's something that we all could do better. I know I could do it better. Liking multiple things. I think about this after making fun of it for 10 minutes or whatever, or 20 minutes. I don't know. This is probably too long of a video. I don't care. When you learn a thing, it doesn't challenge what you know. It adds to what you know. Just remember that. When someone shares an opinion with you that's different than yours, it doesn't challenge your opinion. It may, right? But you can take that and be like, now I know two things. Now I see two perspectives. Now I am a broader, more well-informed person. So the intention of most people is to not, of most good-hearted people, of me, surely, is to not challenge what you think you know, or any of that. It's to present. I'm a presenter of facts and of sharing stuff. On the technical side, it gets a little tricky because some people, let's take the capacitor flipped over thing. Okay, there are a group of facts surrounding that orange drop capacitor noise flip over thing. And the facts are this. Whoever made that video is right. When you push on it, it makes more noise. Okay? But you don't do that when you play guitar, so it doesn't apply. Right? This is where the nuance comes in. When you add current, like in an amplifier, it matters much more. When you lower the noise floor, like in a radio transmitter, it matters much more. But in a guitar, the fact that the condition exists is separate from the fact that it actually matters to the guitar playing. Okay, so there's a conversation to be had there. It's not just a black and white thing. Tube amps, same thing. There's so many things we could go into. So but on the technical side, like that capacitor thing, or how a guitar string works, or how a pickup works, or why do pickups have screws and they didn't used to. There are facts surrounding those things that are not disputable. They are the facts, okay? And they may challenge how you feel about the instrument, but they are facts. Now, it doesn't matter, really. You can still feel the way you want to feel, obviously, and you can adjust the screws in your humbucker all you want. It's totally fine. It's not my guitar. I don't care what you do with your guitar. You can flip your capacitor over too. I don't care. It's fine. But the facts are the facts. That's So it's when you disagree with a fact, okay? And I can verify basically everything I've ever said on this channel. We've done some corrections in the past, and we'll do that. We'll do that whenever necessary. I did it a couple weeks ago, actually. Um, on the Gibson scale length deal, right? I got that wrong. I made a retraction, not a retraction video, but just added to it because I missed it. It was a big thing to miss. Absolutely, I'll do it at any time. But when it comes to the physics of how a pickup works, when it comes to electronics, when it comes to E over IR, Ohm's law, dude, facts are facts. If you don't like how a capacitor acts in your guitar, if you don't like how, I don't know, any of those little things, I can give you the science. It's super easy. Sometimes the science doesn't matter, and that's good. But if you're asking me a question about a fact and I give you the answer, I'm not challenging you to challenge you. I'm giving you the answer. So you, and I'm telling you, because I have to do the same thing, as a consumer of information, should add this to your arsenal of facts that you now have. And be a smarter person. That's what you should do. If you disagree on a fact, that's on you. That's totally fine. Now, when it's subjective, does this amp sound better than this amp? No, obviously, I don't have an opinion about that. I mean, I have my opinions, but I don't expect you to share them. So, that's the thing. The bottom line is all of this stuff is cool. All guitar gear is cool, 100%. From $100 all the way up to $10,000, whatever it is, it's all cool. It's all super neat, and I just want to learn about all of it. I don't want to own all of it, and I'm not drawn to all of it. I've said it many times. These very inexpensive guitars that are kind of cookie cutter things out of Asia, they don't personally interest me. I think they're interesting for who they're interesting for, right? They are the perfect example of each guitar is made for a particular market, and I'm not that market. I'm just not into them. It's just not my thing. And this applies to lots of other stuff in my life. I don't buy guns like that. I don't buy knives like that. I don't buy watches like that. I don't buy pens like that. I don't buy cars like that. If it's a boring thing to me, I just don't do it. I like things that excite me. And so I stick to those things. And it's not that those things are bad that I don't like. It's just, they just don't excite me that much. So, that's the thing. Why can't we just have conversations like this? You guys, this has been fun. See you tomorrow.